Welcome to the New Jersey Alliance for Immigrant Justice Know Your Rights training. In this module, we'll cover the distinction between public and non-public areas in relation to the Fourth Amendment protections. To effectively assert your Fourth Amendment right against unlawful entry, it is essential to understand the difference between public and non-public private areas in various locations, including workplaces. The following case study will help illustrate the distinction. Case study. A law enforcement officer approaches a dry cleaning establishment known to employ several undocumented workers. The building has two distinct entry points, the front entrance and the back entrance. The front entrance is the main entryway used by customers to drop off and pick up their clothes. It leads directly to the cashier's desk and the customer service area. The back entrance is used exclusively by employees and provides access to staff-only areas where they begin their workday. Can the officer enter through the back? How about the front? The remainder of this module will help us analyze whether ICE has the authority to enter each of these spaces and what type of legal documentation is required for entry. Understanding these distinctions is crucial for knowing your rights and how to respond if confronted by law enforcement in your workplace. Public areas are spaces that are readily accessible to the general public. These include lobbies, waiting areas, or any other locations where visitors are freely allowed without restrictions. In these public areas, law enforcement, including ICE, can generally observe and monitor activity without needing a warrant. People in public areas do not have the same expectation of privacy as they would in non-public spaces. Understanding what constitutes a public area is crucial when asserting your rights. Let's now discuss non-public areas and how they differ in terms of Fourth Amendment protections. Non-public areas. These are spaces that are not open to the general public, such as private offices, staff-only areas, or storage rooms. Unlike public areas, non-public spaces are subject to heightened Fourth Amendment protections. This means that ICE agents must have a judicial warrant signed by a judge to enter these areas, unless someone with the proper authority explicitly gives them consent. Without a judicial warrant, ICE cannot legally enter these spaces. Understanding the differences between public and non-public areas is critical when protecting your rights. Now let's go over what to do if ICE attempts to enter a non-public area without a judicial warrant. If ICE seeks to enter your home or a private, non-public section of your workplace, they need a valid judicial warrant. If ICE does not have a valid judicial warrant, you can refuse entry. ICE will try to trick you into believing they have a valid judicial warrant, when in fact they do not. This is an ICE warrant. It does not give them the legal authority to enter your home without your permission. This is a valid judicial warrant. ICE must present this document to legally enter your home. If they cannot provide it, you are not required to let them in. Let's talk about the key differences between an ICE warrant and a judicial warrant, because they are not the same. ICE warrant is also known as an administrative warrant. This is issued by ICE officers, not by a judge. Notice that the top left-hand corner of the document reads Department of Homeland Security. It often comes in forms like Form I-200 or Form I-205. If ICE presents this, you do not have to let them in. Judicial warrant. This is issued and signed by a judge, which means it carries legal authority for ICE to enter private spaces without consent. It will have a court's name and the signature of a federal judge, not an ICE officer's signature. If ICE presents this, they can enter, but you still have rights, such as the right to remain silent. If ICE comes to your door, always ask to see the warrant. If it's only an ICE warrant, you are not required to let them in. Thank you for joining us for the second module of your Know Your Rights training. In the next module, we will cover your constitutional rights when encountering ICE in public areas, including while driving on the road, walking on the street, or being in the community.